Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's your host, one and only, Mad Gamer. So, what are we talking about today? What is the deal? Let me go ahead and turn on this music, guys. Let's vibe out real quick while we talk about a very important topic that I think everybody has to know about, but not everybody's aware. So, I'm a very conscious yet unconscious person. What does that mean? Well, subconsciously we do things and consciously we do things, right? But either way, it's a part of us. No matter how we want to shape it or form. Oh, I didn't mean to say that or feel that or do that, or it was an instant reaction or whatever the case may be on how you want to perceive your actions, reactions, the way you um, attitude is, and things like that. This is a part of your DNA as who you are. And of course, you can always change and mold your mentality and feelings and emotions and grow and expand as a man or a woman. But in the end of the day, there's a true essence to who you are within you. And though you might see yourself a certain way, the world perceives you differently. So today's topic is to brand or not to brand. Okay, so a little pretext here about who I am and what I do. I've never been the type to want to brand myself, but everything I do leads up to having to be somewhat branded by society. Um, Back when I was younger, I was a musician. Oh, that's the artist. Hey, man, and that was the labels and branding that was placed upon me. But in reality, I'm more of a writer, not just of music, but stories and working on a book and doing all these scripts and doing so many things. All that said, I don't have the capacity to deal with being stuck in one box. I don't appreciate that. It's like you're limiting me to a standard and it's not okay. So I've always went against the grains and always expanded and always done more. That said, recently got into gaming on a new level about 2 to 3 years ago. I would say a year ago. Officially, this year I opened up madgamer.com to be a site for journalists, provide news, interviews, we do tournaments, giveaways, and a bunch of stuff. Very small team, but slowly I'm starting to add on some pieces to it to expand it. Now, I didn't want to be the owner of a site. I didn't want to be the leader of the charge, to be this brand that the world would label me as. It happened because of my passion and my commitment to continuously being and doing whatever I feel or want. That said, there isn't necessarily a factor where it makes it um, comfortable for me. I'm still a musician. I'm still working on a book. I have scripts for movies and a video game scripts. There's things that I want to do outside of, oh, this is that guy with that website, or that's that guy who does the tournaments, or so. All of these labels, while interesting, um, they don't necessarily make or break who I am, and I embrace them, and I take accountability for them. But there's so much more that I do and that I am and that I want to do, and I try to um, tell others, to never feel limited. If I'm on a basketball team and I'm a bench warmer, guess what? The moment they put me on that court, I'm going to be Michael Jordan. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to step outside of my lane and do wrong things and take bad shots, not pass the ball, or do something terrible. No. Jordan was a smart player, but I'm not going to limit to myself and be afraid to take a shot or be timid just because my role is bench warmer. You follow me? So the reason I bring that up is because when you're branding, if you're working under a big corporation or something, you can still brand yourself individually and build an audience, a community, and that will be your future regardless of what corporation, what company, what labels they place upon you. The world gets to see all of you. Now, a lot of people can't embrace that and they're afraid to put themselves out there for whatever reasons. We're not going to get into those details. This isn't a confidence uh, podcast for today, but it is a part of that. So basically, let's say I'm working for Sony. I'm a rep for Sony, whether I'm a manager, developer, you know, PR, whatever you want to label me. If I work for Sony, they're a huge company. I mean, if I just say for Sony, it can be anything. I can be in the movies, in the devices, in PlayStation, and you name it. That's right. I could work for them, but that doesn't mean I have to die individually. As far as my individuality, it doesn't need to die because I can go ahead and brand myself. Yes, I work for Sony, but I do this, I do that, I do this, and I love this, and I love that, and I have my own opinions. So, you create that profile, you create that community, you create that AKA brand, and you can see a lot of great things happen because people will respect you for what you're doing with that company, but they'll respect you more for your individuality. And I'm trying to encourage my people that work with me, anybody I collaborate with, to take that branding seriously and expand on it and expose it to the world. Don't be afraid to change. It's like, oh, but you were doing this and now you're doing that. It's like, that's okay. Like me, I'm a music artist. I want to work on an album soon, but that doesn't mean my gaming stuff stops or I'm not a gamer anymore because of that. I was always doing music since a young age, so to come back and to work on some music again will be awesome for me, right? But then I have to rebrand it. No, I'm still what I'm doing here, but I just have another reach to get to. So all of that said, what is branding specifically and how do you do it? Simply put, in the most simplest form, you're building a community. That's what branding's about. Building a community. And the way you do that is engage your audience. Now, who am I to talk? I don't necessarily bother with trying to give people the ultimate light here as far as, oh, well, this guy's has the biggest following or the, you know, craziest amount of branding skill there. No. But I do understand the system. And I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've helped many, and that's what it's all about. So when you hear these, let's say YouTubers, for example, man, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about that. How you feel, man? Tell me you like and subscribe that page. Hey, 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 and all these little things to engage your audiences. Those are a part of basically building a brand. And if you don't pay attention to it, if you're not seeing it from others, then you can't even see it for yourself. You follow me? So this is where we as a people got to be more alert with that. So you really focus in on what's important for your brand and just focus on it and do what you're passionate about. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of people are afraid, and a lot of people spend their days worried rather than just going for it. And another story to share about my experience, when I was doing music, I just would show up at every karaoke, every open mic, every event that allowed me. And at first, I'm actually paying to get in the club, $10, $20. just to get into these places to perform. Then all of a sudden, those shows brought me clients. Oh man, I really love your stuff. We got a concert over here. If you we mind if you open da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah. I was gonna do it for free. They give me $200. Next thing you know, I do that show. Then some more radio says they want to get me on their concert festival event, and now they're paying me $800. And then it goes down the line. I'm getting paid $7,000 for a hour and 20 minutes of my life performing on stage. You know that for a small time artist who wasn't trying to blow up and just enjoyed music was a big deal to me. And I bring that up because all I did was just put myself out there and just get out there and have fun performing at different places. I just loved performing. And they will consistently contact me and ask me to get involved with what they're doing. And I had fun with it. I really did. I really enjoyed just engaging myself. And I did what I did, and then I got a lot of money, a lot of fun memories, and lived somewhat of a dream doing music everywhere, music videos or different things that were pretty cool. And the dreams expanded from there, and they became bigger than what I originally started with. You know, you originally start with, oh, I'd like to make an album. And you're like, oh, I would like to make a music video. Oh man, I would like to do that. And you know, as a kid, I'm talking about 17 years old when all this started, you don't have bigger dream. Then it starts getting to the point where people are saying you belong on MTV, BET, and you know you deserve awards and Grammys and all this funny stuff that never was in your light, but you embrace it, enjoy it, and appreciate that. So those are the type of things that, as I said, you know, really make the difference, and it can help if you just put yourself out there. And that's where I'm trying to help people realize you just got to put yourself out there. Same thing with gaming. I used to write articles for years, but miscellaneous, hiding behind doors and not really putting myself out there. And it wasn't until 2015 that I put myself out there to the furthest extent. And what that created was a buzz. And then forums started liking what I do, featuring me on their news column, on their front pages, and all this. Really cool. I was honored and respected it. And I just kept working as far as writing articles for fun, and ended up getting into the review event for Metal Gear Solid V: The Phantom Pain, my favorite game. Then from there, we just basically ran down the line and got to this point where I have my own site, and slowly but surely taking the steps necessarily to build and to grow and expand this for others. I feel like my platform is specifically for others. Yes, I'm the head of the snake, and I have to put my face out there and put all of my efforts. It's a lot of work for me, to be honest. It's not easy. I don't get paid for this. I'm working, building this brand while giving others opportunities to be a part of it and to grow stronger in it. And that's kind of like a difficult thing to do, unselfishly, when I should just think about me and do my thing. And MadGamer.com can be all solo artists type of work. You know, easily I can do that and have a good success, the same amount of success. But if I can build up other people and have them grow and expand, then that will levitate me emotionally, spiritually, mentally, as a mentor, as a leader, as a human, to do these things. So that's what I've been doing, giving the platform to these young journalists or old journalists. There's no age, there's no discrimination there, but younger, old journalists who really are passionate about video games and got honest, true opinions and express them. And I give them the freedom to speak about their passion projects. It's not always about, oh, come do this article that I asked you to. It's really more about, feel free. So you'll see a lot of interesting stuff on the site that I don't even approve of when it comes to like, oh well, you need to write about this. No, I just say, hey, you know, today's passion project or this week, right? What about whatever you feel. Once in a while, I might throw a assignment to these people, but normally I allow them to engage in that because I want the real opinions and honest and passionate articles. So that's what we're providing. Now, the brand is very small in scale as far as we're not in the billions or the millions when it comes to views, but you know, a lot of developers and publishers have respect for what I've been doing, and we have relationships, and I'm humbled and blessed to be able to utilize those for the better of the team and continue to provide an advancement there. Now, again, none of this was my expectations. It's like, oh, I can't wait to do this. It all just came about, and I felt it was right, and I just went with it, and we're going with the flow. And now, all of a sudden, I got inspired to make a film documentary while I was at E3, and we recorded most of it and got it ready to go. We're in post productions, and I'm excited about it. Got a great team of cinematographers who are so passionate about it that I feel like this project's going to be very special. We got some really beautiful messages from the interviews, and it's going to be a powerful, powerful documentary. Hopefully, um, it'll be out this year for sure. I can't tell you when. I'd rather take the time and do it right, just to give the world a piece of, you know, what we're trying to provide a Mad Gamer, as well as just in general inspiring the world. So, without further ado, that's my branding of what I've been at. But there's a lot of stuff I can do to engage the audiences more and bring in the people to the flow. And I'm happy to take all the advice I can. I know nothing. I know so much that I know nothing is what I always say. Um, I've learned enough to know that I know nothing. It's really what I said. But that said, it's one of those things where I'm happy with taking advice, feedback, good and bad. Please go ahead and destroy my podcast and tell me what's wrong with it. Or please destroy my YouTube and tell me what's wrong with it. Go to my website and pick at every single thing. You're not going to hurt my confidence. It's the reason why I do what I do regardless. But you will help me look and get that feedback and see what I can improve. And you will only boost me up. So it's a blessing. So please go right ahead and don't worry about my feelings. Like I said before, you know, my website isn't me. I don't go home to my website. I live with it every day, but I mean, I got my family, my loved ones, my 2 kids. That's my life. That's the only thing you can't critique because I might have to hurt somebody. But on a serious note, go and critique me on everything I do, whether it's the way I tweet, whether it's the way my YouTube is presented. I know I have a lot of flaws in everything I do, and I'm happy to work on them. And guess what? The people who tell me about my flaws are the ones who are helping me build my brand to where I want it to be. Because either you enforce that I love the way I do it, or you help me say, you know what, I need to change some things. How can I make this a lot more apparent? So I'm grateful for all of it. And you guys are the ones that'll build my brand for me by doing that. So again, talking about being the brand or not being the brand. How do you do that? You don't. You are already a brand. You represent whatever your name is, Johnny Cash, Michael Jackson. Even if they weren't famous, they would still be Johnny Cash and Michael Jackson. There's no denying that. And that brand of a human is what they represent. So when you think of someone, when I name David Jones, random name that I'm selecting here. I don't know who that is. I've never heard of a David Jones. It's an odd combination. But let's say David Jones from your neighborhood. You see him all the time with his dog and his wife. and you're like, he seems like a great guy. That's David Jones's brand. A nice guy, family guy with his wife and dog. And then now you start associating things with him. He doesn't have no kids, or he goes to work really early and comes home early, and oh, his wife doesn't work, and you start associating what David Jones's brand is automatically, and he's just a regular citizen working at the mailbox, post office, or working in a retail store or something. You don't have to be a superhuman celebrity to have a brand. You are a brand with everything you do. So now you want to embrace it and enhance it and take feedback. Don't be afraid of what the world says. Don't be afraid that they're going to critique you because you did something against what you said earlier. You're not practicing what you preach. Guess what? It's called being human. I'm always going to be human no matter how long I live and how much information you feed me, how smart I get, how rich I get. I'm still going to be human in the end of the day. So my brand will live with me through the good and the bad. And you just got to be honest and open with yourself and be yourself. And now, guys that go on the internet, I want to talk to you for a second. They go on the internet and tend to talk recklessly and act up, but then they want to try to build relationships, and they trying to, expand their horizon with their movements, but yet they're trolling so many people. And now, hey, guess what? You could still make it and still do your thing, but are you respected? Are you appreciated as a human? Are you appreciated as a brand? Like, that guy has some really awesome, personality, or this or that. So now you got to look at yourself, like I said, as a human, and figure out your blessings. I've seen so many great players in gaming that I sound disrespectful right now, but they're just terrible humans. They have terrible personalities. They have no type of respect for people. They're really disrespectful, and it's like, dude, you're a great gamer. You got great skills, whether you're e-sporting it or you're doing all these challenges with these games, and or you're just a great streamer or a YouTuber or something. But if your personality's garbage, you as a human is garbage, then how can people want to support you? So that branding isn't about, oh, well, I got the best content. It's also about what type of human you are and what type of connections can you make with the world. So you got to look within yourself and find that. And that's a human thing. That has nothing to do with, oh, well, I'm got the best content. Because I have made some great music, and it hasn't gotten to the ears of the people that it needs to. There's been plenty of great music in this world that doesn't go out anywhere, so it doesn't get enhanced the way it should. You follow me? So that's where your brand is important for you to really evaluate. Are you really, really cherishing who you are and what you do? Are you cherishing yourself? That's the key. That's where your brand starts, and then the world can embrace you. And then you have to be open to allow them to embrace you. And it all goes into one circle of life. But you live and you learn, you grow, and you expand. Life is too short to wait around. Anyway, that is the message for today. I know I usually do over an hour for the podcast. I'm cutting them shorter for now, only because when I really start putting these podcasts out, and I'm going to have a whole setup for it in the near future, and you guys can really get engaged with that. But today was about branding and understanding that you are a brand, regardless if you want to be one or not. And you represent who you are. You're a walking billboard for yourself. So do it right, man. Do it right for you. And then engage your communities so that they can get involved and enjoy as well. So anyway, that's where it is. Peace and love to everybody out there, man. It's Friday. We are about to experience a beautiful, beautiful summer. How do we know? Because we create it. We go out there and enjoy it. Get to a beach, man. If you don't want to swim, that's fine. Just get to a beach. Just feel the vibes at the beach. Go to the vibes and just vibe out. Live it and love it, man. Life is short. You know why? Because you gotta appreciate it. So appreciate it as much as you can. Understand that you are the movement. That's why this podcast is called The Movement. It's about you. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. I am Mad Gamer, and so are you.